blowout of the night. LeBron and the Lakers taking on the Pelicans, and this one was hideous. First quarter, LeBron with the... What is that? Who's he throwing that to? Well, I guess Herbert Jones. And then defense optional? That's embarrassing. Not a great start for the Lakers, and it would just get worse. Second quarter, Russell Westbrook. What is that? Defense optional? Take a look at this. LeBron, he's back. Anybody else want to consider guarding C.J. McCollum? Doesn't look that way. 41 seconds to go in the half. Lakers down a dozen and just getting worse. It's another turnover. It's Jones the other way. Lakers 16 turnovers in the first half. And then third quarter, they pick up right where they left off. Struggling to hang on to the ball. LeBron throwing it to no one in particular. Listen to the fans. Yeah, they were booing. I was booing, and I was 3,000 miles away. Later in the third, Pelicans up 28. And off a miss, DeAndre Jordan. What is this? Look at this pass. I really have no explanation. The Lakers lose huge. And after the game, there were far more questions than there were answers.
I don't have an answer from tonight. I mean, obviously, you talk about the future. That's for us all to figure out. I mean, you don't know what can happen in the next, few weeks, but tonight, I mean, from the 6 minute point of the second quarter through the third, no answers. No, this season is definitely different.
Does the booing, pretty loud, especially at the end of the game, does that stick with you? Like, how do you respond to that? Like, you don't take that home with you?
Take it home for what?
I don't think about it. One.
Take it home, man. Well, I got 3 beautiful kids at my house. My wife ain't taking it home. They take their boo and they take their home. I ain't worried about that. Doesn't bother me none.
Okay, fair enough. Tim Legler, it's my job to come up with questions. I'm not even sure I know you don't have answers for what is it. How do we explain the way the Lakers look last night, and what does it mean?
I think the scary part for me, Greeny, is you watch them some nights, and certainly last night was one of those nights. You don't see a collective will, and that's the problem right now. We know that they've had some difficulties fitting in these pieces, and Russell Westbrook in particular, and in trying to find his lane and be efficient. Anthony Davis has been out with injuries. We know those things, and all teams deal with those kinds of issues. But the other issue, their collective will, their body language, the way they give into adversity so easily, those are the things that are much more alarming. If you're a Laker fan or if you're a coach on that coaching staff, those are the things that you should be able to control every night internally, individually, and they don't have that right now. When things start to go south in a game, it just collapses on them. And that is why when you look up and you take a look at the landscape in the Western Conference, there are just so many teams you watch that are better. They've got more talent, they've got better pieces that fit, and they fight every night, and that's not a way that I can describe the Lakers. None of those things. This team looks like they're toast. I think they're still going to make the play-in, but I just don't know if they're going to get out of that play-in and actually make their way into a 7-game series.
And even if they did, the idea that they could be competitive, to your point, seems crazy. The only thing you hang your hat on is, if and when they get Anthony Davis back and he is fully healthy, can he make all of the difference? That's the one piece that isn't there right now and has been missing so much of this season. Can that possibly be enough to change everything?
It can be enough to change to the extent you'll say, yes, I can definitely now see them just escaping the play. And you're talking about, getting past Minnesota, potentially the Clippers, New Orleans. Yes, no question there. But when you start talking about coming from wherever you're going to have to come from, a 7 or 8 spot, play teams like Golden State or Phoenix, or play a Memphis team. Look at what's going on with Denver and Dallas, how good those teams have been. No, you just don't see them escaping a 7-game series. One of the problems in trying to figure this out is Anthony Davis is so talented on both ends of the floor that you need to see it for an extended period of time to have a better idea. He's going to make an enormous difference, but I just think when you talk about the teams they would have to beat in a 7-game series, even Anthony Davis coming in here late to try to save the day, I don't think is enough. And I don't think, it's amazing. I'm writing off a team potentially that's got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on it if he's healthy, but those teams at the top of the West are just significantly better in every facet.
That's 100% right. This was a season, I'll remind you, that began with the Lakers as the favorites to win the West. At this point, if they missed the playoffs entirely, it would not be a surprise. Meanwhile, on the other
manager Rob Pelinka last week, insisting that there's no movement underway to seek management changes, and that he believes there's a shared accountability for the franchise's disappointing season. This is according to sources, what they told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Guys, want to hear LeBron James following Friday's loss to the Clippers on his future, or should we concentrate on Jay's coffee spill? Which one?
Let's go to the sound.
Here's LeBron James. He plays forward for the Los Angeles Lakers. You maybe call him a point guard. At the Friday post-game press conference.
This is a franchise I see myself being with.
Beyond your contract.
I'm here. You guys, I continue to tell you guys, I mean, Dave knows me more than any one of you guys, and I tell you, I literally live in the moment. I do. I live in the moment, and I see myself being with the purple and gold as long as I can play.
Well, Jay?
All right, so a couple things. Let's go back to after the game on Friday when he was asked about his confidence level that he can remain with the Lakers for the rest of his career. Key, you ready? Very confident, James said. This is according to The Athletic. They've done it. They've shown me that. Ever since I got here, the front office of Jeannie, Linda, and Kurt Rambis, everybody has welcomed me with open arms and has given me an opportunity to play for a historical franchise and welcomed my family in. There was an omission there. Do you know who that person was that he didn't?
Rob Pelinka.
That's really interesting to me. I just, look, the conversation about Rich, Jeannie, and everybody sitting down together, I understand that. But coming off these last two games, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Because I just don't feel like this team plays for anything, Key. And that's the part that's troubling about it. You know,
Can you go into that when you say doesn't play for anything?
So
What do you mean?
every time you see a LeBron James team play, there's a sense of urgency that they're playing with in order to win a championship. And this team, after the way everybody knew what was going on going into All-Star break, the way they play against the Clippers, a narrow loss, right? They play decently, but then to follow that up with the slacking that they got by the Pelicans, a team that's 2.5 games behind them, by the Pelicans. Like things like these, it's going to continue to compound over time due to the lack of communication that they have.
I think this is more about the future of LeBron James than it is about where they're at right now, right? They're the 9th seed, whatever the case may be. They lost last night. It was a disgusting loss, no question about it. But when you look into where LeBron James and his future lies, I think it still lies in L.A. For a number of reasons. Yeah, he mentioned leaving the possibility open for Cleveland. That might be when he's 50. I don't know. I don't want to read too deep into it. It's not out of the realm that Rich Paul would have communications with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, especially at a time when there seems to be a little bit of turmoil, controversy surrounding around all-star comments made by his client. But he also represents Anthony Davis that's on the team. Trade rumors on the offseason has surfaced a little bit. He also represents a number of high-profile players that eventually